Did you ever see a whale with a pokey dotted tail? Down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home I dare not go, for if I do, well, my mama would say, hey, hey. Did you ever see a fly wearing a tie? Down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home I dare not go, for if I do, well, my mother would say, hey, hey. Did you ever see a bear combing its hair? Down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home I dare not go, for if I do, well, my mama would say, hey, hey. Have you ever seen llamas eating their pajamas? Down by the bay.
So, unsure if it was the full moon or Mercury moving out of retrograde, or the fact that I found myself calling an organization, which led me to calling their corporate organization, which then led me to the insurance commission, which then sent me to the Department of Labor, which then sent me to the Division of Industrial Relations this week. But I found myself in confusion in trying to figure out something for my child. And so I've been very confused this week. So it was April 25th. And I, of course, pulled one of my Rumi cards, and it led me to this reading, which is, when we stop seeing life as it is, showing up for us every moment, and engaging with it as it is, we can become careless with the light of our heart. Our huffing and puffing to force what does not need to be forced can cause the heart light to flicker and waver. This can make our way seem uncertain, and doubts can crowd in upon us, as the light is compromised in its purpose. We forget to trust in what is because we get caught up in attachment and fear surrounding our desires. Rather than letting life move us, we try to move life. And that is where my confusion came in, because I was trying to force what I thought needed to happen for my child on my timeline in the way that I saw fit. And that was happening from a place of ego. And I had my moment of clarity this morning in Publix. Right? I don't know if anyone has ever shopped in Publix, and I don't know if it's just the Publix near my house or if every Publix does this. But as you walk down the frozen aisles of Publix, the lights, right? So each section lights up as you move by. And for me, this reminded me of and Publix has the best music too, by the way. So this kind of reminded me a little of a catwalk, and fear not, I do work that aisle for all it's worth. Hopefully there's no video of that, but I did, and I realized that the path will light its own way. I just have to take the steps forward. And thinking back on my experience of phone call after phone call with no answers and feeling frustration, I realized the last call I made, I actually got to speak to a real human being who was telling me like it was. She was impeccable with her word from her experience of what it is that she does. And granted, she was not the solver of my problem. She at least gave me information to where I felt like I then knew what the next step was. And so I felt a lot of gratitude around that. And I also, saw it from more than just an ego perspective, because I thought about, like, what if I couldn't read? What if I couldn't hear? What if I couldn't see? Like, how would I have navigated this situation? How would I have been able to advocate? And so that kind of points to a larger systemic issue, but I still had gratitude in that moment. And when I look back, I realized, because as I was talking to this individual who was giving me the information, the text came across, your appointment is at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. And there it was, unforced, allowed, accepted. And we'll take that into a time of prayer. Holy Heart of the universe, may we come into this time and space with an open heart and an open mind. May we lean into and trust that the universe is working for our highest good. And even though we may not be able to see it in a moment, to trust that the way will be shown and the path will be lit from the love that we are. And so it is.
For crying, and I'm crazy for loving you.
Nate, this is your quote. It's a quote by Nate. From Rilke, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know how to hold the mic, even.
That's your chin. Check 1, 2. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then you will gradually, without knowing it, live along at some distant day into the answer. And that's a quote by Rilke.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, that's one you could talk about for a little while. Yeah. Wow, y'all look good today. Y'all look good today. Do you know that? Some of you do. Some of you are like, What's the most important thing today? This is the question that I start. I sit with my journal and I'm like, what's the most important thing today? What is it? What's the most important thing?
I'm alive.
I'm alive. What's the most important thing today?
My mental health.
My mental health. What else?
Love.
Love's the most important thing. What else?
Wholeness.
Wholeness. Feeling wholeness. is important. Yeah, what else?
Garden.
Showing up, my garden, yeah, those things. You know, we say those things. I came up with my list, which is similar, some of them, and what Megan was talking about as well, and that is being present to what is in front of me. Isn't that really important? Yes. Like every day, being present, not rushing, keeping an open mind. Megan's already mentioned that one. Not having expectations. Is that really important though? Because we have a lot of expectations, is what I'm saying. If it was that important, maybe we wouldn't have so many expectations. Remembering not to get too attached to any one thing or any one person, that's probably important, right? Following my heart. Like if we could do all those things, like wow, we might have a different kind of life, but it seems like a long list. Is it really doable? Is it really doable all the time to have such a long list? So when I started making the list, and as you shared some of your things, I thought, what if I just picked one thing? Like what if I just picked one thing and decided that was the most important thing? And the thing I picked was to be present in the moment. Like if I could just be present in the moment, I think my life would be a lot different than it would be up to now. Up to now. And what I mean by being present is this. Here's my definition. Allowing your attention to rest in the moment. See how, like nicely, like allowing my attention to rest, like maybe even lightly in the moment. Not laser focused. Laser focused sometimes is tension. And when I'm laser focused, all the stuff that's happening right here is out of my purview. Like I can't even see it. But what about if I just lightly rest my attention on what is in front of me? That feels really good, doesn't it? Like lightly rest. Lightly rest. I came up with some examples that I want to share with you. Like daydreaming is allowing your attention to rest in a possibility or a memory, right? When I'm daydreaming, I'm just allowing my attention to rest in that. You know when you're just sitting there and recalling a memory or thinking about a possibility, like that's what it is, resting your attention on that. Worry. Worry is resting your attention on the worst case scenario. Right? We know that. It's like resting my attention on that. That's what it is. That's what it is. Guilt or regret is what? It's resting my attention on what a terrible person I am, what I did, what I didn't do. That's what it is. It's resting my attention on that. How about curiosity? Curiosity is simply resting my attention on what might be, of what's possible, or how I could expand. You see how that is? I'm like, oh, maybe I'm onto something here. Like resting my attention. Because saying, well, just be present to what is, what's that really mean? This is what I'm coming at. This is what I'm coming to. Resting my attention. Resting my attention. And guess what? It's your attention. You get to rest it wherever you want to. You know that. You know that already, but there's a reminder. Like you get to rest it wherever you want to rest it. There are a million things trying to gain your attention. Think advertising of any kind. Anything you're scrolling and looking at, trying to pull you in. Trying to get your attention. That you have control over your attention. I have control. That's the power position. Is I have control on where I place my attention and how lightly I place it, or if I laser focus it, and the difference between the tension and the ease. That's the difference to me. Because there's all sorts of things. But here's the thing, your attention is not a roulette wheel. It doesn't have to be by chance. It can be by intention. Gratitude. Gratitude is letting your attention rest in your good fortune. Isn't that what gratitude is? Allowing my attention to rest in my good fortune. Feel what that feels like, to feel gratitude. Allowing my attention to rest. Frustration is allowing your attention to rest in what you don't want, what you can't have, and expectations of others. Why? It's your attention. You can let it rest wherever you want it to rest. Because resting attention is not about the thing that I'm resting on, it's about the emotion I feel, isn't it? because all those are feelings. Curiosity is a feeling. Frustration is a feeling. Love is letting my attention rest on what? Caring for another or putting another's needs first. That's what it is. I was thinking about all this and writing in my journal, and Renee and I spent some time this week up in Oriental, North Carolina. Went away for a little break. And one day, believe it or not, we ate a small enough lunch that we were able to have dessert. You know, it rarely happens for us. You know, you have this nice lunch, like, oh, dessert, it'd be nice, but no. So we ordered dessert, and I ordered carrot cake. And Renee ordered
Cheesecake.
cheesecake. That's right, cheesecake. So we didn't even split a dessert. We had dessert. So my piece of carrot cake was like this big. I'm like, that's like for 3 people, right? But I had a taste for cream cheese icing, so I wanted some carrot cake. It was good carrot cake, but I took most of it home with me. And then later, I was resting my attention on the fact that I even had it and how much weight I would gain and where I would gain it. Right? Because I'm like, you know what, I really didn't need that. And you see how, and then I thought, well, you know, you don't have to rest your attention there. You could rest your attention on, oh my God, it was so good. And you rarely eat dessert out. And listen, you have at least 2 more servings you can eat because you brought it home with you. You see? I mean, we can have a choice on resting our attention. And it influences our experience, doesn't it? It influenced mine in that case. So we're coming home yesterday, and Renee drove, and she drove her truck up to Oriental. And we're coming into, and so it's mostly country, going up 17, and we're out in the country, and going out from New Bern out to the beach area, out to Oriental area, and we're coming back into town, and Renee is frustrated. She is like, I've been driving the last 3 days and I've been fine, but I come back into Wilmington, all this traffic. Y'all know that, I know that. Letting my attention rest on the stop and go and the drivers that are driving not the way I want them to drive, resting my attention on that creates frustration. It creates frustration. We can all relate. They're all relating, Renee, so you're not alone. You know. She caught herself doing that. I don't know that she changed until we pulled in the driveway. What I choose to let my attention rest on, that's the thing. So I think that proves to me that we can have practice. And I think it's one of the most important things we can practice is where we decide to rest our attention. Because you know what? We can rest our attention on some beautiful things. Can't we? We can rest our attention on anything in nature. A flower, a sunset, water, a waterfall, a ripe tomato. Like those things, like we can rest our attention on that and we're like, oh my gosh, carrot cake? That's not really nature. But we can rest our attention on those things, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. A perfect golf shot. All right, men, you're like, oh, she's talking about all the perfect golf shot. What does it feel like when you get hit a perfect golf shot and it lands on the green? It's 3 feet from the cup. You're like, oh my God, it feels so good. It feels so good. A cat doing anything. Just to rest your attention on that and see that cat and the whiskers and the eyes and the don't care what you say. The whole attitude of a cat. Really. I mean, you can feel that. I mean, pick something, whatever it is for you. Pick something wonderful and feel what it feels like to rest your attention on that. Like we have the power to do that. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want you to remember this because you might think, why are you talking about it so much? We all know this, but do you practice it? Like every day, all the time? Do you realize that you really have control, or do you let the headline grab you? Do you let the headlines grab you? Do you let politics grab you? Do you let it grab you and take you down the rabbit hole? Why? Isn't it important enough? We have control. We have, because we've all said before, I'm going to project, we've all said before, I don't want to think about that right now. You said that before? Ever? Okay. I don't want to think about that right now. I'm not going there right now. I'm not going there. Because we know we have the choice. We know that maybe we're not ready to deal with that right now. Maybe it's too painful. Maybe it's, I don't want to go into the what ifs. I don't want to go there right now. And we shift out of it. So it's proof that you can do it. It's proof that we can do it. But we don't do it all the time. We don't do it all the time. We have that ability, but it doesn't happen all the time. But I think that it's important every day, because where we choose to rest our attention will give us the experience we either want to have or don't want to have. And we get to choose. We get to choose. We get to choose where we rest it, and then we have the experience of it. We don't have to allow it to be ripped away from us, hijacked from us, taken us out. It's the old, letting every nutshell and mosquito wing that falls on the rail make you go off track. No. I'm going to choose to rest my attention here. All right. Have I said it enough? Practice. Practice that. So, this idea of attention brought me to a chapter in Pema Chodron's book, When Things Fall Apart, that I want to share with you, because this is one of the ways that she suggests, and that I think goes with this message about practicing my attention, practicing placing my attention, where I place it, and that I lightly place it. Here's the way this chapter starts off. Maybe you'll be able to relate. One of the best practices for everyday living when we don't have much time for meditation is to notice our opinions. Anybody have those? No. That's what I think. She says this: we have a lot of opinions. I used to work with this guy at the construction, an architect's office, where we did construction administration together. And he said in one meeting that I was at, yeah, Paula, everybody has an opinion and Paula has two. It wasn't meant to be kind. We all have a lot of opinions. And the thing is, we tend to take them as truth. But actually, they aren't the truth. They're just our opinions. They're just our opinions. And we don't have to make these opinions go away, and we don't have to criticize ourselves for having them. We could just notice what we say to ourselves and see how much of it is just our particular take on reality. So this is letting my attention rest on my opinions. Is letting my attention, not just to have one, but to let my attention rest on what is this about. She says, when I talk about noticing opinions, I'm talking about noticing them as a simple way of beginning to pay attention to what we think and do and how much energy comes along with that. And then we can also begin to realize how solid we make things and how easy it is to get in a war in which we want our opinions to win and someone else's to lose. That's the thing. We have an opinion. And that's fine. But having this expectation is allowing our attention to rest on this idea that mine is the right one and yours is the wrong one. And she's encouraging us to rest our attention on that, so maybe we change our minds about that. When we hold on to our opinions with aggression, no matter how valid our cause, we are simply adding more aggression to the planet. And violence and pain increase. And this is the spiritual aspect of attention that I want to share with you, coming from Pema Chodron, is holding on to that and the importance of understanding and noticing where my attention rests when it comes to my opinions influences the planet, not just me. When we hold on to our opinions with aggression, no matter how valid our cause, we are simply adding more aggression to the planet, and violence and pain increase. Cultivating non-aggression is cultivating peace. The way to stop war is to stop hating the enemy. It starts with seeing our opinions of ourselves and of others as simply our take on reality and not making them a reason to increase the negativity in the planet. I think this is the most important thing that I could do any day of the week. Whether my aggression is toward traffic, whether my aggression is toward judgment toward myself about eating a piece of carrot cake, like it doesn't matter. It is influencing and contributing negativity to the world. Why? Either eat the cake or don't eat the cake. Right? It's done. It's done. It's done. Either be frustrated with traffic or don't be frustrated with traffic. We got home in exactly the same time. I gained exactly the same amount of weight from that cake. Renee and I finished it yesterday when we got home. So there were exactly 2 more servings left. Yeah, that's the importance of noticing and resting awareness, is to get out of the aggression and the judgment of it, no matter what it is. Resting in that emotion of aggression, resting in the emotion of frustration, of judgment, of those things that we don't want. One piece of advice that Don Juan gave to Carlos Castaneda was to do everything as if it were the only thing in the world that mattered, while all the time knowing that it doesn't matter at all. There's a quote. That attitude leads to more appreciation and less burnout. Let me rest my attention on appreciation, in appreciation. Because we do the job wholeheartedly and we care. How about if we do that? Let's just do what we do wholeheartedly. Somebody mentioned wholeness over here. Joe did. Wholeheartedly, and we care. And we care. Let me rest my attention there. I can have an opinion, but I can rest my attention in care and appreciation. I can cultivate attention that is willing to trust in this greater something. And I can do it gently. I can do it gently. It doesn't mean we don't stand up for social justice. It means when we do it with our attention out of aggression and for appreciation. And we may or may not see the fruition. It's the problem that we're attached to, is there needs to be an outcome. It has to be a certain way. We have to see progress. Sometimes we don't see progress in our lifetime. But we all have the ability to rest our attention and to care wholeheartedly for each other all the time. I hope this message didn't seem too disconnected. It did a little bit to me, but I think there's some nuggets in there worthwhile, and I hope you do too. Resting your attention. The importance of the feeling of it, because that's really what we're after, not the thing, the feeling of it. And that matters. That puts the vibration in the world. The feeling does. The feeling does. So let's take that into meditation for just a little while. Take a deep breath in and back out. And let's check in, or maybe even take this few moments together to practice. To practice resting your attention in the direction that results in a feeling that you want to have. To direct your attention and to feel the feeling you want to be feeling. To let it rest lightly. Maybe it is to rest it right here, right now. Maybe it is to recall the love that you have for a loved one, or for a garden, for the safety that you feel, gratitude. Let it rest. Let your attention rest for these few minutes. There is nobody on the planet, neither those whom we see as the oppressed nor those whom we see as the oppressor, who doesn't have what it takes to wake up. We all need support and encouragement to be aware of what we think, what we say, and what we do. Cultivate a mind that does not grasp at right and wrong. Wholeheartedly do what it takes to awaken your clear seeing, one day at a time, one moment at a time. And if we live that way, we will benefit this earth and each other. Amen.
From the deepest stone to the farthest star, may our love reach everyone. In this pool of love we have gathered here, spread its wings and fly far and near. May this deepest stone to the farthest star, may our love reach everyone. May this pool of love we have gathered here spread its wings and fly far and near. From the deepest stone to the farthest star, may our love reach everyone. We're gonna repeat that again. May our love reach everyone. One more time, here we go. May our love reach everyone.
May
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy.
and amen. See you next week.